So this is going to be a video showcasing how to install and run the Simpsons hit and run source code on Windows 10 in Visual Studio 2022. So first and foremost, this builds in release mode and runs in release mode. The reason why I haven't been able to get it working as part of the debug build just yet is because the debug build builds an outdated PDDI DX8 project, which currently has got a lot of incompatibility issues with Windows 10. A lot of it is to do with string copy functions and string management, but that's for another video. So please bear in mind this is just for release mode. So what we're going to do firstly is, this assumes that you've already got the Simpsons hit and run source code downloaded as the zip. I'm going to provide a link in the description. It's the same as my old Windows XP video. And also I'll also provide a link to the DirectX 10 SDK of June 10th. You might need to install the DirectX 10 SDK. So just double click that and run the exe. Click next, accept, next, no, not allowed to participate. So something to keep in mind here if you're installing the DirectX SDK is that you need to install the runtime, the utilities, headers and libs, redistributable files and symbol files. Make sure that you reopen the installer and then you install these accordingly. This is a step which you might need. I haven't 100% made sure, but this is something that I downloaded before to try and get this to work. And if it doesn't install correctly, I'd say still continue on with the installation. Just make sure you install those if you do try this, because I've already got a newer version of DirectX. That's probably why mine does work, but this isn't guaranteed to be something which you need. So just keep that in mind. If it doesn't work, carry on with installation. If it does work, that's perfect. Next, and then install each individual one of those things. I'm just going to skip ahead. This won't work for me because I've already tried it. So I'm going to try and exit out. It might tell me that it won't have installed correctly because of that, me trying to exit out. But whilst that's doing that in the background, we'll open up the zip file. So you'll need WinRAR for this, or some sort of unzipping software. Extraction software. 7-zip works as well. So this isn't shown right now because we're already writing to a file in the DirectX executable. But yeah. Anyways, with the executable, with the zip file here, what we're going to do is we're going to take Simpsons hit and run. You're going to find a place and just literally just drag it into that place. This will extract it to that location. So yeah, this one failed for myself. That's because I tried to exit out, but sometimes, well, mine fails because I've already got these files installed, and I've got a later version of DirectX which I got with the Visual Studio installer. I'll just take this time now to quickly say as well, this assumes that you've also got a Windows 10 Visual Studio 2022 C++ package downloaded, installed and usable in Windows 10. I'm not going to go into how to install that because you should have already had that installed if you're trying this. So you'll need, I'm going to explain what you need anyways. The reason I'm not doing that basically is because it's a complete pain having to uninstall Visual Studio with all the different stuff that I've already got on it and then have to reinstall it. So the way to do that is essentially you want to go to the Visual Studio updater, and then you'll look for Microsoft C++, MSVC, which is the Microsoft Visual Studio the Microsoft Visual C++ compiler. Sorry, you'll download that. You'll download the various different other things which are required for getting Visual Studio to run C++ in Visual Studio. So just make sure, look at some other video on YouTube for how to do that. As I said, I'm not going to provide that in this tutorial because I've got a lot of my own work that's on there, and it's essentially like having to get me to uninstall a lot of what I've already got to reinstall it completely. If you don't know how to do it though, just leave something down in the comments and I'll try and explain to you how to do it. So it will take quite a long time. I mean, it's got about 10 gigs to extract. Yours will probably take a bit longer, or it could be shorter if you've got a much quicker SSD than I've got. Just expect that. Don't think that it's taking too long and it's just not going to extract to the specific place, because, well, it is. It's just taking a long time because there's a lot of files. So coming up to the end of it now. So mine took about 4 minutes long. As I said, yours will probably take a bit longer or could take shorter depending on how fast your SSD or your storage drives read and write speeds are. So just expect it to take a long time. It is 10 gigs as well, so you need at least 10 gigs. So once they've all been extracted, they're now all being moved. This is all being moved into the SSD. If we look here, Simpsons hit and run, that's currently just being written to. So we're just continuously writing all of the game in. And there we go, it's completely done now. So that's now been extracted. Alright, so now that it's finished, let's get this into getting it building and running. So first and foremost, what you're going to do is right click Simpsons hit and run, rename it just to Simpsons, and then we're going to go to game, we're going to go to build, Win32, and going back up one, select all of these files, hit Control C to copy them, or you can right click and click copy. Go to Win32, click inside the folder, press Control V. This destination has two files of the same names, just to replace these files. There we go. So this will get the solution back to what it originally was. Then you're going to open this SRR2 solution. It's open on my other monitor, I'll just drag it over. You'll be greeted with this window where it says one-way upgrade. Click OK. And then check, do this for all similar cases during this conversion session, click yes. What this is going to do now is, this is on my other monitor so it's quite annoying, you'll get all of these different migration messages where each individual project is going to migrate to a later version of Visual Studio. So your browser will probably open afterwards and you'll get a migration report. That's okay, that's just telling us what happened. We do get a lot of warnings, but there's no errors, which is absolutely fine. If you get errors, then try and work through them for the different errors that you've got. This is working for myself. Like I said, I'll try and leave a comment. I'll try to respond, but I might not be able to. Alright, so this is our solution now. The most important step that you must do, so listen right now, if there's anything that you need to, that you think, Christ, I needed to listen to this bloody video, it's a very British way of putting it. What you need to do is listen to this step right now. Go up to debug, left click, and click release. Make sure that you do that. What we're next going to do is we're going to go to solution SRR2. We're going to go to properties, configuration properties, PDDIDX8. We're going to uncheck build, hit apply, hit OK, and there we go. So what we're going to do next is we're going to right click SRR2. We're going to click clean, that'll clean all of these different projects. We're then going to right click, go to properties, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go within the left panel, we're going to go to linker, we're going to go to input, and we're going to add additional libraries. I've already got these within a different instance of Simpsons hit and run. So I'm just going to drag those over from my second, or I'm going to copy them over. I'll leave something in the description that has all the different library files for you to move over. Don't worry, your build should come with all these different libraries as well as part of the leaked files. So select, so I've got all the way down to Winstock, just select all the different libraries, hit Control C, paste them all in. Hit OK, hit apply. So they're all additional libraries. Now, those libraries are used to build, well, they're library files which are used by lots of these projects for lots of the headers, which are, well, a lot of different function definitions which are used. And essentially what's happened is, as part of the solution being used in Visual Studio, we haven't actually included any of them. So that's why part of the game just doesn't run, because the linker can't find these different library files. So just make sure that you include all of those, otherwise you won't get it running. We're going to go to, you're going to go to general. Now that you've finished an input with all these different libraries, go to general, additional library directories. I'm going to click edit, and then this step is quite tedious. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to add all of the directories to those libraries which we just added as part of the input. So I've already got mine located in my other project, which is, for me, it's within game libs sim lib. And what I mean by that is you'll go, so this is where mine's installed, game libs, whatever the project is, and then lib. You want to include that. And you're going to do that for the following. You're going to do that for sim, rad sound, pure 3D, core, choreo, poser, rad content, rad math, rad movie, rad music, rad script, and scrooby. The way to do this quickly is we're just going to go to libs. What you're going to do is you're going to copy up to, well, here we're actually just going to copy all of it. I'm going to hit cancel there. Going to hit all of it, and then something that you can do is select your drive and then wherever you saved up to Simpsons game libs. If you also make sure you got the backslash there, if you select this string, hit Control C to copy, then what you can do is you can add all of the different individual libraries one by one, but make sure you also add backslash lib at the end. So I'm going to do poser, pure 3D. Just going to double check I'm doing these correctly. So I actually made a mistake on this point, and I correct it later on in the video. What it is the library location which I've just added, which is eSimpsons game libs, pure 3D lib, which is selected right now. Actually, should actually be pure 3D build lib. You can see that on the right on additional library directories, where I've got them for my other project which I got working, that the third one down is pure 3D build lib. However, here I add it as pure 3D lib. Just make sure that you add pure 3D build lib. And finally, rad music. So it's a bit all over the place, but I'll leave something in the description which has all the different directories that you need. So I'll just put, for example, like projects, and then choreo, or libraries from projects, choreo, poser, pure 3D, grad content, yada yada yada. So hit OK, hit apply, hit OK. We're going to clean again, and we're going to rebuild. We will get some errors still. Fortunately though, since we've included a lot of these libraries now, we should get through a lot of the build process without any problems, considering that we're in release and we also removed PDDIDX8 from the build. Yep, so there we go. This is expected, so don't worry. You'll see that we've got lots of these errors where we've got ref as an ambiguous symbol. That is a very easy fix actually. Right, so 638 errors. Quite a lot of these are just for this ref ambiguous symbol. It's alright, we can sort those out. So first and foremost, let's sort out these missing type specifier issues. You'll notice that these are within Win32 platform.h and keyboard.h. Don't worry, these are all the same error. These are two errors, but out of all these different errors, they are just two individual ones. So where you see that it says file Win32 platform.h, I'm going to double click. That'll take us to this. This hasn't got a return type. I imagine it probably worked for a version of C, but in Win32 platform.h, here just after static we're going to put int. So that returns an integer. We're then going to go to keyboard.h, and then const. You'll notice that num keyboard buttons. I'm going to set that to int as well. That'll solve those. Next, cannot open include file fstream.h, no such file or directory. Let's go to this one. I'm going to double click, and where we've got fstream.h and stringstree.h, just remove the .h and then hit save. That should work. Yep, there we go. Sorry, change that to string stream, so str_stream. Hit save. Here you'll notice that in upcase.cpp, that's our next error, which is here. I'm going to squash that by basically just putting hashtag if false on line 46. So just to show you that again, line 46 put hashtag if false. After line 52 put hashtag end if. We're just going to make all this code false. So the reason for that is that this is literally just to convert a string to uppercase, and honestly that will not do anything to break the game. I mean, at the worst there'll probably be some places where there's lowercase strings, but honestly, does that really ruin your immersion? If it does, then you shouldn't be doing this in the first place. Next, for all these different ref ambiguous symbol errors, we're going to double click. Here you got type def, ref, irad controller, rad controller, and real controller.h. What you're going to do is you're going to select, hold control, press R twice, select both symbols, hit OK. We're going to rename this to ref_srr. I'm just going to double check that myself to make sure. Yep, so ref_srr. We're going to hit preview. This will take a little bit of time because it's doing it's finding every single reference that we've actually got here. We're going to scroll down. We'll notice all these checkboxes. We're also going to change it for comments as well. So I've already got my mine selected for comments there, but just make sure that every single different thing here is selected. You're going to hit apply. This will take a bit of time, and that realistically should be changed now. So that's all changed. So we're going to scroll down right to the bottom. We've got a couple of final issues. Let's solve this. I'll do this in order, so we'll go to this one firstly. C2440 initializing cannot convert from const char to char star in console.cpp. Go to that. So just to double check, just to make sure that you understand, it's line 1459. We're just going to change this from just a char star to a const char star. So just add const just before char. There you go. Sorted. Now, line 1579 of console.cpp. Here, do the same thing, just const char. Next, you'll see, so that should have fixed that. Then we've got this C2065 IID to iDirectSound8 issue. Literally, all you need to do here is, instead of having IID iDirectSound8, remove the 8 and hit save. That's all you need to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to clean, and then we're going to rebuild. It's probably going to take a bit of time, but this should have solved quite a lot of the errors. This says 638 errors, but that hasn't refreshed yet. Yep, there we go. So you can see that we've got this error, which is cannot open include file afxres.h. That's an issue, and I've already got that working in my build, so I'll leave a link in the description as to where to find that file. So what you're going to do is, this is part of my old project that I've got working within build Win32 afxres.h. So from the download, just make sure that you navigate to game build Win32, paste it in here. I'm going to build again. So I've got an issue here which is cannot open include. So I've got an issue here which is cannot open input file png.wr.lib. I'm just going to double check what that is. So there we go. That's the culprit. Pure 3D build lib. There we go. That was the issue. So okay, apply. Okay, I bet this will be the issue. Hit build. Do get quite a lot of different errors. One of the issues there was actually that the output file was a different directory, so we're going to quickly change that now because that was one of the steps, and it might actually solve this linker error. So this is what I've got on my other project. What you're going to do is you're going to navigate to your output directory here, hit browse. Your output directory is actually going to be Simpsons game CD PC. Here it's in release. What we want to do is we want to set this to, so browse CD PC, select folder. That still should work. You're just going to change the target name to Simpsons, hit apply, and then additionally within linker general, you want to make sure the output file is set to CD PC Simpsons. In debugging as well, You want to make sure that the working directory isn't set to project directory and it's actually your PC directory that we got from before. So game cd PC, select folder, hit apply. Just sort those issues out. Still hasn't worked, then there is definitely something that's fishy about this. But this is to be expected when you're trying to make something build, especially this code, because it's a really old code base. Just expect that it will take a long time. It's not going to be easy. You might run into issues. I will try, like I said, to respond in the comments, but sometimes you'll come across issues which you just won't be able to, well, you will be able to solve, but are difficult. I won't be able to talk to you about how to solve. I mean, that was a dodgy way of putting it, but that's what I mean. My intention then was to say that it's difficult for me to be able to explain to you guys how to solve it or how to go about fixing it, because the error might be completely difficult to solve. Sorry. Yep, I was expecting this. So these are the errors that I was expecting. We weren't completely out of the water yet. No, still got those link errors. That's very annoying. We'll get around to those afterwards. So this mem copy up issue here, which is line 499 of rad core, you'll notice that I here is undefined. We're literally just going to put unsigned I is equal to 0. Set that equal to 0, hit save, and then initializing cannot convert from const char to char star. What we're going to do here, this is in filesystem.cpp, is we're going to replace this. Here we're just going to replace this with this line here. Char star p is equal to, char star p is equal to string char const cast char star p file name, and then the colon. Comment that out. Build. Oh, that succeeded actually. Right. Okay. Interesting. I'm just going to quickly clean and then rebuild and see if it's working now, because that was very strange. Right, cool. So we actually got past that linker error then. So what we're going to do now is, I'm not expecting this to run first time, because I think we're still missing a couple of different files like these pddrdx DLLs. But I think they're actually, if I'm not mistaken, since our working directory is game cd PC, have we got the pddi DLLs within here? We have, but we haven't got the normal one in there. Now that's interesting. This might not work first time. If it doesn't, I will explain why. You're going to click debug at the top there. Yep, crashes immediately. I think it's the pddrdx file. So just to quickly show the pddrdx file there, this is this file, this pddrdx8.dll. This needs to be in this Simpsons game CD PC file. Once again, I'll leave a link in the description for downloading this. I'm going to hit paste, so that's in there now. I think that should work. If it doesn't work, I will add the additional DLLs, because I think we're missing the EAX. Oh no, we got the Bink and the EAX DLL. But that pddrdx8.dll is also used it's used in the normal build for the game. So if we try and run now, you'll see that it loads up. We've spiked to 100 megabytes of RAM, because I think that's all that was allocated in the past for this game. That makes a lot of sense now. I think 100 megabytes has been allocated on the heap for it. Takes a little bit of time. Still just waiting. And there we go. Skip through. Just gonna skip through. So that's the first thing to do on this, just turn every single setting down pretty much within the menu. So yeah, that's how you get it building and running. I will leave the pddidx8.dll file in the description as a DLL that you can download and drag over. Same for the game build Win32. Same thing for the afxres.h file that's also required within the Win32 build. If you have any issues, then please just leave a comment. I will try to answer your questions as best I can, because it's quite difficult solving different bugs over. But if you have linker errors, like so if you get that link error as part of the description, just right click SRR2, go to properties, go to input, edit additional dependencies, and then just make sure that you got all the correct libs. I'll also, like I said, I'll leave in the description, I'll leave all the different libraries which you need. Also double check your output file, your additional library directories, your output directory, your target name, your working directory, and within, yeah, we already did that output file. You need to make sure that all those are set correctly, because if they are not set correctly, then you're bound to run into errors. But just make sure that you run through them. If you feel a bit stuck, ask ChatGPT. That is something to do as well. So one thing that we're going to quickly do now is, if we go into SRR2 source files, world sim here, and then world physics manager, we're going to head to gravity. We're going to set the gravity to -200, and we're going to run now. So realistically, the gravity should be really low. That would just be something that we can change in the release build. Make sure to change your values back to what they originally were. So yep, skip through. Going to resume game here, and then what we're going to do is we are going to go around and kick things. So there we go. Just head outside,
That was so painful.
and then see that the gravity is really low for different things. Also, when we start driving, the car just lifts up. So it's going to be interesting to see what different things can be made of this, because one of the things which I want to do, for example, is that annoying glitch. So, oh yeah, it's okay if you close, you get an exception thrown. That's just because, well, we've just force closed. Set the gravity back to normal, so -1600. So yeah, that's how you get it working, and that's how you get the game building and running. So if you got any issues, then just tell me in the comments. I am absolutely going to make tons of videos about how the source code works in the background, because a lot of these projects are specifically for the engine, for like rad script, for example, rad core as well. These are all engine based files. The source code wasn't just what was leaked, it was the entire bloody engine. But in terms of getting the source code leaked, that's, you know, you need the engine as well, because half of these projects build to create the executable. So different things which I want to use, or different things I want to change and create videos on. Firstly, I guess I should say I'm going to be creating videos on loads of different things. I'm going to look into how, like, the WASP, for example, works, like the AI for the WASP works. We've got all the AI files here. Some of the AI is going to be interesting, like the driving AI as well as the WASP AI, but those would just be in general videos. What would be quite interesting to change around, for example, is I'm sure somewhere within this world sim file that there are, like, this world collision solver agent file here, for example. This solves collisions between different objects, and what it does is, I'm sure it applies force to objects if they collide. So some of this will just be different types of collisions, but there'll be something where if an object collides with another object, we've got, for example, different forces which are acting on objects. It would be very interesting to see that if you hit an object, could you take the current force that it's, well, the force which is calculated that it gets hit with, and then apply an additional, I don't know, multiplier by like 10 or 20, and what will happen is you should see that the object will go flying. So to be honest, I think it could be here actually. This is test impulse. That's vehicle is special and be dealt with a red bit collision solver agent. Ordinary shit. We'll get the post-react collision call here. Tell you what, we'll just do impulse plus they. I don't think that would work actually, yes, because it's a vector. But anyways, yeah, that's something that's interesting. So just imagine like a car smashing into another one, but one of them being sent absolutely fucking miles because you've also multiplied the force that they get hit with by something ridiculous. So it's just really cool basically to go through and see how all of the different stuff in the game works. Some of this is specifically, you know, just for loading, game state, different sorts of memory management. That's interesting to get into as well, like this memory class here. This will be really interesting to get into, how they've actually allocated the memory for the game, because to be honest, memory management as well as usage, if there's any different types of issues that go on in the game, like glitch wise, there's probably something which is going wrong here. Be interesting to try and find a coin glitch as well. But yeah, that's how to get everything building and running. See what you can make of it. If you get it building and running, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see a couple of videos of people, you know, just doing a load of different things. There's nothing really to get this building and running on consoles because of course I don't have a development kit for those consoles, so there's not really much point. But for PC purposes as well as for informative purposes, I've got it building of course on PC. And yeah, like I said, I really do want to get some videos out showcasing how a lot of this stuff works, but also just messing about with different parts and just trying to basically just create a hell of like a hell of a mess basically. Not completely ruin the game, but just see what different things can be done. Because when you have cheats for a game, for example, this game's got like cheats which allow you to drive really quick, allow you to ram into other cars and just blow them up. Also when you press the horn button, the car jumps. Those are kind of this different things which you can tinker around with within the source code. You don't need cheats in particular, but that's the sort of level. It's like, imagine there was a cheat, for example, which was if you hit a car that it will go flying, right? That is something that you can literally just manually do in the source code. You just find the event where a car hits another car and then just apply the force multiplied by like 10 or 50 or something. That's literally just how you do it. So this has the ability to manipulate a lot of the different source code, but I'm also going to get into quite a bit of the engine, because I know that there's a guy who's creating an Unreal Engine remaster who's out there, and I want to say he's one of the like he's insane for trying to do it, because of course he's doing everything from scratch in Unreal Engine. But to get this, or to actually take the source code originally and add additional features, like for example a major graphics overhaul, would be insane to do. So that's something that I'm hoping to do maybe sometime in the future. It would be quite difficult because the shaders are DirectX, I think they're DirectX 8, which is really old. Well, actually no, it's HLSL 1.1, which is extremely old, and Visual Studio doesn't even have a compiler for HLSL 1.1, so that's why we removed PDDIDX8 from this build. But additionally, as well as that, and yeah, you can't run it in debug. The idea would be have the same game and remaster it by also adding tons of advanced graphics techniques. I'm talking about like point lights. Imagine Marge's level, for example, which is level, is that level 4? Yeah, it's level 4. Imagine Marge's level where it's all nighttime and you've got lights, or the city, Apu's level, where you've got different point lights which are emitting light. If you could cast shadows onto backgrounds as well as have the light with reflective materials for different objects and cars, then that major graphics overhaul will make the game look so much better. As well as additionally just like loads of different advanced rendering techniques. I think there's normal mapping in this. I'm not 100%. I don't think there might be. Normal mapping, parallax mapping, just loads of different advanced techniques. Ambient occlusion, for example, just to make the game look insanely better, because then it's still using the same engine, but it's a huge mod. That is not something which is easy to do. That is literally, think about the GTA San Andreas, I wouldn't say the remaster, but think about the mods for GTA San Andreas, which make the game look insanely good, the reshade of them. That is just out of modding the shaders basically to make them look differently, but it will be interesting to go through. So I'm going to make a video soon on the Wasp AI, just to see how the Wasp AI actually works. I'll provide a video showcasing it and just talking about how it all works. I'll try and make it really informative. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like I said, any issues, just leave a comment. Won't be able to get through all of them, but I'll try my best. And please be as detailed as possible if you do have any issues, because honestly, trying to solve errors as a programmer on another programmer's computer, if that person isn't as knowledgeable about Visual Studio, then it makes the life of the programmer trying to solve the problem a hell of a lot harder. I'll try my best, but like I said, any link errors, go to project, properties, and then general. Make sure your additional library directories are all set, as well as your input, and then that should realistically sort out all those link errors, although we saw that we just needed to sort out those differences and then rebuild solution to get it to run. So that was interesting. But yeah, that's how to get this running. Thank you for watching. Loads more videos to come soon, and goodbye.